Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another video. We're going to be going over the Lions versus Panthers Week 3 preseason game, final preseason game of the season for the Lions. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to go over the studs, the duds, and the players that I thought were just okay. And then we'll talk about my 53-man roster prediction that I just uploaded on my short not too long ago. So let's go ahead and get into it. Start off with the duds. Get the bad things out of the way. There's not many bad things. I thought we played a very clean game this week. I would say the duds from this week is Nate Sudfeld as the number one. I think overall this was his best game. But he got hurt, so the hurt, he can't do anything about it. So I'm gonna put him in the mid, not dud, because he did play his best preseason game this week, but he didn't play that long. So we'll put him in meh. So I don't even know if there's a dud. I'm gonna be honest. I would say maybe our offensive line was still a dud. They were way better than last week, so much better than last week, but they still weren't great. So that's why maybe they're a dud. But besides that, man, I don't think there's really anybody that was a dud this week. Maybe Riley Patterson, you can argue, because he missed a 53-yard field goal short. It was short, and he missed an extra point. Maybe you can call Patterson a dud from this week. If the Lions pick up Robbie Gould, by the way, I'm going to be super happy. I like Patterson, but I would go get Robbie Gould, man. I would say Chase Cota was maybe the other dud. He had a wide open touchdown catch that he dropped. He dropped another pass. He only had 1 or 2 receptions on the day. I would say he was probably a dud. But that's about it, man. So we'll go ahead and get into this. We'll go ahead and get into the mad players. So I already talked about Nate Sudfeld. Another mad player, I would say. I don't know. I'd say another mad player was maybe Broderick Martin. He didn't really show anything. I thought this was his best game, but he really didn't do anything really, really impressive. That's all the mess. So there's a lot of good players. There's at least 5 good players today. So we'll start off with the good. We'll go to the good now. The good. Dylan Drummond had a great game. I think he's making the 53-man now. Clearly. He had 5 or 6 receptions for 80 yards. He played pretty well. And then Antoine Green finally had his good game in preseason. He had 3 or 4 receptions for 80 yards and a touchdown. He's making the team 100% now. That's why I have Cota getting put on the practice squad. Hopefully Cota doesn't get picked up, though. Those are the good players right now. Another good player is Stephen Gilmore. I had a 60 to 40% shot he was making the roster before this video, but after this game, he showed me that 80% to 20% he should be making the roster. I think he's looked better than Starling Thomas in preseasons. I just have both of them making the roster, by the way. So Stephen Gilmore is a big dub. Another big dub is Chase Lucas. I had no shot in heck he was making the 53-man. I had him making the practice squad about every time, I'm pretty sure. But he just wasn't really showing anything until this past game, bro. He was our best game, I would say. He had a great diving interception. It was probably our best interception we've had in a couple years. It was really good. He had a couple of breakups. He almost got a sack. He was really good. I have him making the 53-man now. It's going to be tough for him still. It's more like 50-50, but I have him making the 53-man on my last roster prediction. Another stud I would say we had was Corey Durden. A lot of people aren't talking about him. I don't have him making the 53-man. I don't think there's any way he can. But I have him making the practice squad. I think I might have had him making the practice squad last time, but I 100% have him making the 53, the practice squad this time. He was a good nose tackle. He was our best defensive tackle of the day. And then he played a little bit of edge, surprisingly, because he's huge. He's like 340 pounds. So I was surprised he was playing edge, but he was playing edge. He was actually winning most of the times because he's so big. He was just pushing everybody, all the offensive linemen back. Almost had 2 sacks. He's a big guy, so we can't get it to him in time, but he was getting pressure. So I thought he was a stud. Not many people are talking about. I don't know if I'd call this guy a stud, but a lot of people aren't really talking about him. Daryl Daniels, our tight end we signed after Shane Zylstra got hurt, one of them. I thought he's been pretty solid in preseason. I don't have him making the 53-man. I think people have him making the 53-man are a little bit crazy, but I have him making the practice squad now. I don't think he had that many receptions, but I saw that he was blocking really well. I saw he's a really good special teamer. He had like maybe 3 or 4 tackles on special teams this preseason. Some good tackles too. So I have Daryl Daniels making the practice squad now. Daniel Helm, don't even bring up Daniel Helm. He's not good. I did not think he was good when we signed him. So he's clearly not good. Don't even bring him up. He was not good. He had like 1 or 2 drops last game. Another stud we had was Craig Reynolds. He balled out. I think he had 1 or 2 touchdowns. I know he had 1. I don't know if he had 2. I can't remember. But he balled out. He's averaging like 4.2 or 4.3 yards per carry. I think he had like 50 yards on the day. He was pretty good. He's the clear number 3 running back. I don't know if I call this guy a stud, but I thought he played pretty well when he did. Benny Snell. I have him making the 53-man. I don't expect the Lions to keep him, but on my 53-man, I am because he's been really solid in preseason when he's played. He's had maybe like 15 carries for like maybe 60, 70 yards. Like, he's been good on average. That's the thing with Benny Snell throughout his career. Yards per carry has not been great. He's averaging like 3.6 yards per carry in his career, but he's been really good on his yards per carry throughout in preseason and behind a terrible offensive line. So keep that in mind. I would say that's probably all the studs. You could say Teddy Bridgewater was even a stud. Last game he was terrible, but this game he definitely just needed to get adjusted to the playbook because he definitely showed he is that clear backup. Another stud player I would say was Adrian Martinez. Like, he wasn't a stud. He really didn't do anything, but I thought he was accurate enough. I thought he was good scrambling the football. He's clearly our best scrambling quarterback. I have him making the practice squad just because of his scrambling abilities over Sudfeld. I'm assuming if the Lions are going to keep Sudfeld, though, and they put him on the practice squad, they would take him over Martinez. I wouldn't. I just think Martinez is our best scrambler. And he's somewhat accurate, too. He's not scared either. So that's that. I had a chair here the whole entire time. You got to be kidding me. So I'm going to go over my 53-man roster prediction, and then we'll end it. So at quarterback, I have Goff and Bridgewater with Hooker on the pup. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. I mean, some people argue that Sudfeld needs to be the number 3 or Martinez needs to be the number 3 on our active roster. No, he doesn't. We only need 2 quarterbacks, especially with how good our DB room has been this preseason. At running back / fullback, I got 4. I got Gibbs, Montgomery, Reynolds, and Benny Snell. Get Kabinda out of here. He finally had a good catch last game because he drops literally everything. So that was surprising, but still not good enough to make the 53-man. At wide receiver, I got 6 making it. St. Brown, Marvin Jones, Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, Antoine Green, and Dylan Drummond. I mean, some people argue that Coden needs to be over Dylan Drummond, but I don't. I feel like Dylan Drummond has showed more over training camp and preseason. That's why. At tight end, I have 3. It's obvious. So Porter, Wright, and Mitchell. Nobody's going to argue that. I have 8 linemen making the team. Ragnow, Scholl, Decker, Jonah Jackson, Big V, Glasgow, Sorsdal, and Jermaine Ifedi. Some people will say that Matt Nelson's going to make it over Ifedi. I think the Lions could take Matt Nelson over Ifedi just because they like Matt Nelson for some reason. I've never been a big fan of Nelson. I like that he's a swing tackle and that we play him at swing tackle sometimes because it did work last season. But as a backup offensive tackle, I can't do it, man. Maybe a second backup offensive tackle is fine, but Ifedi is better than Matt Nelson overall, if you ask me. I have 5 interior D linemen making the team. McNeil, Bugs, Orange-Enrique, Broderick Martin, and then Benito Jones. He was my last player on the 53-man to make it with Benito Jones. Had him making it barely over Kabinda and Julian Okora. As now we get to edge, we have Hutchinson, Romeo Okora, Charles Harris, John Kaminsky, Pascal, and Houston. Have Julian Okora being cut. I took Benito Jones over Julian Okora just because we have less interior men than edges. And Benito's a big guy. Julian, is somewhat of a big guy, but he's not a nose tackle, like Benito is. At linebacker, I got 5 making the team. I got Anzalone, Jack Campbell, Barnes, Rodrigo, and Reeves Maven. There's another guy I was fighting with was the last spot was Nowaski and Pittman. I just couldn't do it. I feel like Benito Jones is going to help us the most. He's not special teams. He's not going to run down to the field and tackle a guy on special teams like Pittman or Nowaski could. But since I have so many DBs making the team, I'm I don't feel like we need Pittman that much because Reeves Maven can play that, Rodrigo can play that, even Barnes can do that. Houston as well. So that's why. I have 7 cornerbacks making the team with Mosley on the PUP list. So this is the most cornerbacks I've had making the team when I started my 53-man. I have Sutton, Branch, Jacobs, Will Harris, Starling Thomas, Stephen Gilmore, and Chase Lucas. I'm just trying to think, will these guys make the practice squad? That is what it came down to for me. Or will they stay on the practice squad? Starling Thomas, there's no way in heck he would make the practice squad because he was supposed to go in the 4th or 5th round of the draft, and he was pretty good in preseason as well. There's no way he was not going to get picked up off the practice squad. Stephen Gilmore's was. Stephon Gilmore's brother was supposed to go in the 6th or 7th round. He played really, really good in preseason. So that's him. Chase Lucas, he didn't show as much in preseason, but in the last game he balled out. He's a former 7th round pick, so I could see him getting picked up as well. That's why I have him making the 53-man. And then once Mosley returns, we might even have 8 at corner. I'd probably cut Lucas or Gilmore if they hadn't done anything then, but that's that for now. Mosley could play week 1, but it's looking like he's not, so that's why I have it like that. I have 4 safeties making the team: Gardner Johnson, Kirby Joseph, Tracy Walker, and Ifwitu Melifonwu. Almost had Brady Breeze making it over Benito Jones as well. I actually put him down over Benito Jones, and I'm we would have 12 DBs then on the team. I'm there's no way Brady Breeze is probably even going to play special teams. So, it just came down to me, who's going to be playing the most out of those guys. So, I took Benito over Breeze then. And then, special teams, I got Patterson, Fox, and Daly. So, that's my 53-man. I mean, we'll go over the practice squad, too. I guess we're just going to run through this, not really talk about it. I have Martinez, Jamar Jefferson, Chase Cota, Maurice Alexander, Daryl Daniels, Obinna Easy, Matt Nelson, Corey Durden, Anthony Pittman, Trevor Nowaski, Khalil Dorsey, Colby Richardson, Brady Breeze, Brandon Joseph, Brad Cecil, and Kayode Owoskia making the practice squad. I had 4 offensive linemen making the team because I only had 8 making the 53-man. I usually have 9 or 10 making the 53-man. But our backup offensive line has not been that good in preseason. So I kept Sorsdal and Ifedi because they're the best players on that backup O-line, if you ask me. But besides Sorsdal and Ifedi, you have Glasgow, who, thank God, can play center and guard, because if he couldn't do that, I'd have to keep 9. I'd probably have to keep Owoskia or Brad Cecil then, but so thank God, since he can play guard center, that way I don't have to keep one of them on the 53-man and waste a spot. But that's about it, man. I mean, the only other guy on that practice squad that I could argue, two guys in the practice squad that I really wanted to make that I think could make the 53-man is Pittman and Chase Cota. I don't really see anybody else making it. Maybe Khalil Dorsey. I thought Khalil Dorsey played a really good preseason. Colby Richardson showed out this past game too. I thought that's why I have him making the practice squad. Because I was like, there's no way in heck he's making 53-man. There's no way he's making the practice squad. And then after the last game, I'm like, yeah, he's making the practice squad. Not the 53-man, but he's making the practice squad. The players I really wanted to see make the 53-man that I doubt will, let alone make the practice squad, is Brandon Joseph, Trevor Nowaski, Corey Durden, and Adrian Martinez. Those are the guys I really wish would make the 53-man, even though I don't think they will. I would not keep them on the 53-man, but I would. If they did make it, I wouldn't be mad. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, man, that's it. So next game is in less than 2 weeks. Playing Kansas City. Cannot wait for it, man. I'm so excited. I'm not expecting us to dominate or anything like that, but we gotta pick up this win, man. We're picking up this win, man. One pride, man. We're gonna pick up this one. We're gonna shock the world, man. But yeah, man, today and through Tuesday is roster cut day, so I will put some shorts out there when we have major cuts and just cuts let alone. So yeah, man, go ahead and wrap this thing up. This has been my longest video since ranking every NFL quarterback. It's running on 17 minutes now, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. Hope you guys stay healthy. And just gotta keep believing that we can beat Kansas City, man. So let's go, man. One pride. Like and subscribe. Do whatever you want to do. One pride.